broomheads! Look at me! I'm back filming another Degrassi video before 6 months has passed. I hope you're happy. But I'm sorry though, this is about next generation, not junior high or high. So my apologies there. But this is a video that was requested by somebody. I don't have her name right now, but I'll put it right here. It was requested by one of you guys. My favorite episodes from the next generation. I actually started writing this list back in August. So I finished it up and now I'm going to film a video about it. We're just going to go through the list of my top 15 favorite episodes from Degrassi The Next Generation. I do want to say that most of these are more coming from the earlier seasons, and that's just because those are my favorite. And those are the ones that I have watched more often. This was requested by Delaney. I did have her name. This list was kind of hard to put together, and you know, if you catch me on a different day, I might have come up with a different list. It was hard because almost every episode has something about it that I like. So, and then a lot of plot lines that I really like are carried through several episodes. So, you know, this is the best I could do, but this isn't the end all be all, okay? Okay, number 1, Degrassi The Next Generation. Season 1, Episode 3, Family Politics, aka my alternative title is Ashley has a pseudo brother. And then the synopsis from the internet: Ashley's determined to become Degrassi's next student council president, but when her stepbrother Toby learns that she is running unopposed, he convinces his friend JT to run against her. Meanwhile, Emma and Manny deal with Spinner's bullying. Why do I love this episode? Well, I love early Ashley. I just do. I love that feeling of being introduced to Degrassi Community School. Like, there's just that newness. I love seeing everybody as a baby, and I love the general lightheartedness of this episode. I tend to skip some of the heavier content sometimes because it's just sad and I don't feel like it at the time. But Family Politics is a great watch anytime. Number 2, Season 1, Episode 15, Jagged Little Pill, aka Ashley Takes Ecstasy. Here's the synopsis. Ashley wants to let go of her worries, so throws an end-of-year sleepover that becomes a raucous party. Raucous? I don't know. JT brings an ecstasy pill for Toby, Sean, and himself, but Ashley takes it all herself and things start to take a turn for the worse. What can I say? Again, I love early Ashley, not knowing who she wants to be, how she wants to be. I love sleepovers on this show, so I love the initial sleepover of Ashley, Hazel, Paige, and Terry, just watching movies together, just having girls' time. And I love the unglamorized portrayal of drug use. I love the hilarious juxtaposition of Sean with JT and Toby, and then when the party expands, I just love that contrast between the dorky grade 7s and the much older grade 8s. Number 3, Season 2, Episode 6, Drive, aka Craig Steals a Car. The synopsis from the internet. Craig willfully misunderstands Joey's request for help and takes his friends on a joyride while Joey is away. Ashley is glad she has made friends with Ellie and considers getting her own belly button pierced to impress her. Again, I just love sleepover episodes. I don't think we get enough of these. I love this group of boys together, just like hanging out and chilling. This is also the last time we see this group together as one unit because it's kind of weird, you know? And I guess I can kind of relate to that. Like, Craig has friends in like different pockets that don't always mesh. So it's cool having like Sean with the other boys. And even though this does involve stealing a car, it's still kind of an innocent little lighthearted episode. And I love that this episode, as well as Family Politics, both have themes that mirror Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High. I also have to take a moment to appreciate this B plot, the whole Ashley hang out with Ellie thing, and I just feel it. I can feel those feelings of like wanting Ellie to think she's cool, and the whole belly button piercing thing, and I loved all of it. I love alt girls, so I loved getting to spend some time with the alt girls and seeing like that they're not as cool as they seem. Like, they're insecure too, so I love that one. Number 4, Season 2, Episode 16, Message in a Bottle, aka Sean, the 7th grade alcoholic. Jimmy and Sean decide to make a fresh start for the basketball team. Emma and Sean are a couple again, but Sean finds it hard to handle the pressure at home and jeopardizes their relationship once again. Jimmy hosts a party at his house. So I guess in addition to loving sleepover episodes, I just love party episodes in general. And I don't know what it is about this episode that makes it so enjoyable for me, but I like really seeing the dark side of Sean, like the dangerous side of Sean is actually coming out. And I guess it's kind of crazy because he really is so young. I don't know, this one's always just a really fun watch for me. Number 5, Degrassi Season 3, Episode 3, You Got the Look, aka Manny Gets a Thong. I'm sure you all would have guessed this would be on my list and probably on anybody's list. Sick of being perceived as adorable and cute, Manny tries to change her image to hot. However, the new male attention she gets causes problems in the group. Meanwhile, Joey causes issues by being too involved with Craig's band. Okay. Of course, yes, this will probably be on anyone's list. This episode is so iconic that even people who have never seen Degrassi know about this episode and know about Manny's thong. And I was there when this episode came out. I was kind of shocked. It really threw me for a loop. It was very unexpected. And honestly, I always thought like this was going to be like a 1-episode thing. And then I thought Manny would go back to how she was before. Like I thought she would start dressing slutty, if you will. No shade. And that things would go wrong. And then she'd go back to old Manny with her little scrunchies and her little braids. But she didn't. So now that more time has passed and like the fashion has been vintagized, it just becomes more and more enjoyable to watch. I love it more every time I watch it. I just like girls kind of, and I would consider this alternative. Like Manny is taking an alternative path. She's adopted an alternative style, and I always just love seeing girls trying to break the mold in this show. Oh yeah, and the little B plot with like Joey making an ass of himself, like completely being embarrassing. I love it because I like when bad things happen to Joey. Number 6, Degrassi Season 3, Episode 6, Gangsta Gangsta, aka My Name is Sean Shady. Sean causes problems between Emma and him by hanging out with the bad kids at school, while JT leaves Toby behind by spending more time with Paige and the popular kids. I kind of think of this as the like boy version of Manny's thong episode. So, you know, Manny finds a new version of herself and then Sean finds a new version of himself. I can't even begin to describe to you the thrills I get from this episode. Like, I just love bad kids. The aesthetic is to die for. The fashion, I love it. I am sad these days are gone. This group of Sean, Jay, Alex, and Towers, they are just so cool. Like, I am such a sucker for it. I still watch it and I'm like, oh my god, they're so cool. I just love that Sean just flips the switch. He just goes and joins this group. He affiliates with this group, forsaking all others. He just suddenly decides not to give a crap. It's very interesting. And this is going back to that like contrast between different types of people. So like I was talking about earlier, like the grade 7s versus the grade 8s. Well, now we have like dorky Emma with like gangsta Sean. And I don't know, obviously it falls apart, but it's such an interesting contrast, you know, and this is really like Sean finding himself. Is really like who Sean's always been, but he never had his people. Number 7, Season 3, Episodes 14 and 15. Yes, I'm combining them. Accidents will happen, aka Manny gets an abortion. I didn't save the synopsis for this one. I know this episode by heart because I had to download it on dial-up off of Kazaa because this would not air in the US. And I watched it over and over. I loved every minute of it. Like, Manny's performance is awesome. You really feel the fear, and I just love this tragic, and I just love the topic of abortion on this show, and I just love all the feelings and the emotions and just watching things unfold. It's just beautiful shots in this episode. Visceral, raw, scary, lonely. And we see Manny, this new Manny, she still looks so much like a child, but also like a woman. This is a really interesting, like, transitional moment for her. She looks so much like the old Manny from season 1 and season 2, but something is changing and she can get pregnant. So I guess that makes her a woman. Number 8, season 3, episode 16, Take On Me, aka the Breakfast Club episode. 5 Degrassi students end up in detention for different reasons. Alright, I love this episode because I'm a huge fan of the theme of a group of random people being confined together. So I think about the movie Devil, where 5 people get trapped in an elevator together. I think about like survival movies, like zombie movies, where like an unsuspecting group of people has to work together. I love that when like you don't choose who you're with, but you have to work with them. And plus we get to see a little bit more of people who aren't usually in the forefront of the show, like Toby and Hazel. And it's just a fun episode, and I mean, that was the intention behind this one. It was just a fun one, and I'm always a fan of the good old fun time episodes, you know? Number 9, season 4, episode 14 and 15, Secret, aka Emma gives Jay a blowy. Since the shooting, everyone's walking on eggshells around Emma. She's tired of people feeling sorry for her and treating her differently. When she goes looking for a way to shake up her life, she finds it down in the ravine inside a van with Jay. She soon finds herself becoming someone she doesn't want to be and carries the consequences of unspeakable acts she can't undo. Okay, unspeakable is kind of a strong word, all right? Okay, I love Emma. She's my favorite. I love Jay. He might be my favorite boy. And again, this is a strange pair, a strange contrast between these two people that have come together. I love tales of budding sexuality, sexual mistakes, not to sound like creepy or anything, but you know, like Lifetime movies, teen dramas. I like that kind of stuff. I don't know why. And I love watching Emma become this manipulative person. Like, she's finally tapping into her own power, even though she's not really using it for good necessarily, but I kind of like watching Emma change in that way. And she's totally like getting a high off of what she's accomplished in earning those bracelets. And I love STD stories. That's another topic that I love. You know, I love abortion stories and I love STD stories. Sorry. Number 10, season 4, episode 17, Queen of Hearts, aka Ellie plays cards with the cool kids. Ellie's broke, and if she can't raise some rent money, she's faced with the prospect of moving back in with her mom. She's so desperate that high-stakes gambling with Alex starts to look like a good idea. Meanwhile, Paige wants to know what Matt's hiding from her. I like Ellie up until like season 5. So I really like when Ellie assimilates with the bad kids. I think it's a good fit. I like Ellie and Sean together. I think they worked really well. And I liked seeing Ellie finally like in a group, I guess, like a social group. I love the gambling and the parties and all that stuff that's happening in this episode. I love Ellie and Alex together. I wish they could have stayed friends. And the whole like Paige and Mr. O plot, I enjoy it. I think they're cute together, and I like watching what's happening here. But you know, like, he's sketch though. He's sketch, and people are really like that. So it's a good life lesson. My favorite episode, number 11, season 5, episode 18 and 19, High Fidelity, aka Spinner becomes a virgin. The students prepare for Degrassi's 50th anniversary variety show with Manny in charge. Spinner makes the mistake of lying to jealous Darcy about his sexual past with Manny, causing issues in their relationship. Paige and Alex's relationship comes to an end when Paige becomes too controlling about Alex's future after graduation. Again, this whole like budding sexuality thing is a topic I like, and the whole like being jealous of someone else's past is something that's so hard to get past when you're young. And I think they did a really good job of portraying that. I love Christian Darcy. I think she's hilarious. And again, I love the contrast between like freaking Spinner with prim and proper Christian Darcy. The whole like Spinner re-virginizing himself. It's really quite a hilarious episode. Number 12, Season 5, episode 5 and 6. Oh, this isn't in order. Oh well. Eyes Without a Face, aka Darcy becomes a cam girl. Darcy's tired of her good girl reputation. I can't say R's that good sometimes. And strives for something more exciting. When Peter reintroduces her to an online when Peter introduces her to an online admirer through her My Room page, Darcy begins exchanging racy photos of herself for gifts. Meanwhile, trying to move on from Liberty, JT finds himself interested in the new girl, Mia. Dude, I love this episode. Granted, there are a lot of things that don't really make sense, but you can't linger on them. Like, why would Manny ever get in front of a camera being operated by Peter ever again? I don't know. But let's just forget about that. I love this transformation that Darcy goes through. I love fall from grace stories. I love people being hypocrites. I love people doing things or getting things they think they would never do or never get. So I like watching Darcy kind of, again, kind of tap into her own sexual power as a woman. Obviously, it really backfires, but it's just really fun. It's a really fun watch. Maybe it's just because I freaking love Darcy in all of her forms. Number 13, Season 7, Episode 5 and 6, Death or Glory. Spinner joins Fight Club. Life is looking better for Spinner, but after getting into a fight at school, he begins to feel pain in his groin, and finds out he has testicular cancer. Meanwhile, Darcy believes she has come to terms with her rape, but her actions prove this to be wrong when she acts out in class. Spinner seems to be doing himself in before his illness kills him, and he begins acting out recklessly and picking fights with the Lakehurst thugs. Meanwhile, Marco finally begins to accept that Dylan is really gone and starts to socialize with other people. Somehow I really feel like emotionally connected to Spinner for the first time ever. I mean, this is his second actually serious storyline. But I think he does it really well. The scene where he buzzes his hair is so powerful. I love all of his rage. And I love Darcy's storyline. I don't want to say I love that she got assaulted, but I love the whole storyline. It was so good. And Shanae did so good portraying her. Again, it's another one of those fall from grace stories that I just love. Number 14, Season 7, Episode 12, Live to Tell. Darcy hits rock bottom. Unable to cope with her rape, Darcy descends down a self-destructive path of lies, promiscuity, and disturbing behavior that could cost her everything about which she cares. Meanwhile, Jimmy is tired of relying on Ashley for everything, and with his friend Trina to help him spread his wings, Jimmy is left with a tough decision to make. The downward spiral continues, Darcy's downward spiral. Just going, again, I love that story. This is where Darcy cuts her hair with the scissors. It's terrifying. I mean, she just does a total 180. She used to care about everything, and now she cares about nothing. And I am partial to Darcy. What can I say? Oh, yes, and I also do approve of Jimmy and Trina. Someone needed to break Ashley's heart again. She kind of sucks by this point, you know? And finally, number 15. This is the final episode on my list of favorites. We're going to jump on to Season 11, Episodes 30 and 31, Nowhere to Run, aka the Cabin in the Woods episode. The Degrassi students return from summer break a week before the new school year. Meanwhile, Jake and Claire are still not talking, and the arrival of their parents' wedding sends Jake looking for some space away from her. He invites Katie, Drew, Marisol, and Allie to his family's remote cabin in the woods. Katie is concerned that Bianca has been spending too much time with Drew, and after finding some weed, she gets high with Marisol. She didn't find it. Okay, who wrote this? After Dave breaks her heart, Allie commits a betrayal that could end her friendship with Claire for good. Who wrote? I didn't write this. This sucks. And creepy things begin to happen around the cabin that scare them all. Again, like I said, this is another one of those themes. A random group of people confined in a space. So that has that element to it again. And I'm a sucker for any Halloween episode, scary episode of any show. Like, That's usually my favorite. I think this one was really funny. They really did try to tap into like little horror elements just to make us laugh. It was really cute. Claire and Jake kind of make me nauseous, but other than that, really fun time. I really like that one. Whew, okay, we're done. What did you think? Do you highly agree or highly disagree? Did I forget something that was very important? Because I'm sure I did. Like, you know, we just had to go through like hundreds of episodes to make this list, right? But anyway, I hope that was enjoyable. Sorry if it seems rushed. I'm trying to cram this video in while I have time. So anyway, those are my current favorite episodes. If you guys are interested, I'll make a video of my favorite episodes of Degrassi Junior and Degrassi High, because I don't think I've done one of those. And as always, leave your Degrassi related requests in the bottom, or really any requests that you might have. And that's it for this video. See you next time, broomheads.